Are you tired of struggling to stand out in the overwhelmingly crowded social media sea? On this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing, we're going to take a deep dive into authenticity, which is the not so secret ingredient that so many brands are using to see success on social media. We're going to explore how genuine engagement, sharing real stories, and building trust with your audience can increase loyalty and, more importantly, boost your sales. So let's talk about getting authentic in this week's episode. Hi, friends. I'm Katie Brinkley, and you're listening to a Rocky Mountain Marketing Quickcast. These bite-sized episodes are released every Thursday and are going to give you the latest news and tips in the world of social media that are happening right now. Let's dive into today's Quickcast episode. Welcome back to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Today, we're going to talk about being authentic on social media. In our digital society, it is oversaturated with advertising, and it makes it even more important for you, the solopreneur, the realtor, the podcaster, to stand out. Not just with catchy slogans or pretty branding or amazing graphics, but with a genuine and relatable voice. In fact, an overwhelmingly 86% of consumers say authenticity is crucial when deciding which brands they want to do business with. Quite the testament to authenticity. I think that with being authentic online, it's become commonplace for us to feel like we need to see more from a brand. And authenticity involves a range of factors, including being genuine and transparent, sharing personal stories, sharing different experiences, and most importantly, connecting with your audience on a human level. And this is where, for me, with my brand, I talk about the mountains, going hiking, going camping, that I'm a mom. I talk about that with my social media. And it allows people to connect with me on a different level, on a human level. It's about presenting your business and your brand in a way that's consistent and true to what your company really stands for. Now, with me, one of the things I learned when I was spending a lot of time on Clubhouse, so a few years ago, was that there's different things that you'll say just in passing that's going to allow somebody to connect with you. A good friend of mine, Ari, he owns a production company that books entertainers, magicians, singers, actresses for private events. And he and I connected on Clubhouse, but the way that we connected was not the fact that I have a background in radio or music or anything like that. It was the fact that in his profile picture, he was wearing a University of Michigan hat. And I sent him a message over on LinkedIn and then said, "Love your University of Michigan hat, go blue." Didn't say anything about work with him, but it allowed me to make that human connection to him. And of course, being a Michigan fan, he made that human connection back with me. And from there, we were allowed to build out the rest of our relationship, learn what each other did, and refer business to each other. It's been an amazing relationship. And it all started with the fact that he was wearing a University of Michigan hat in a profile picture. And that's what I want you guys all to imagine right now, is that your social media is a dinner party. And I talk about this often. In fact, I think maybe my first or second podcast episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing, I used this example. So I've been using it for years. But imagine social media as a dinner party. You wouldn't show up and just talk about yourself or your product all night, right? And the same rule applies for social media. Authenticity means engaging in genuine conversation, showing interest in others, and of course, being yourself. If you were to show up to this dinner party and just walk in and say, "Hey, the social media strategist is here. I'm going to make it rain business cards," and then jet out the door, everyone would say, "Who's that person? Weirdo." But if I went in and asked people about what they did, where they live, got to know them on that real, authentic level, I might build an entirely new relationship with them. And this has happened to me on social media a lot. There's been people that I've reached out to where I thought they were going to be an ideal client or customer. And after talking with them and getting to know them a little bit more, I was like, actually, I'm a perfect client for them. So once you have the opportunity to start talking with people, being authentic and learning about what it is that they do, you're going to have an entirely different relationship with them. And you might say, well, yes, I know authenticity is important, but how can I make it work for my business, for my brand? And the answer really lies in these three key benefits. One, it builds trust and credibility. It creates a sense of community, and it increases engagement. Being authentic means your audience knows that there's a real person or a team behind the brand, which goes a long way into building trust. And this genuine connection fosters a real sense of community amongst your followers, leading to increased engagement. And again, I keep going back to sharing photos of me camping or being out with my family. And I don't post that in the feed, but I'm sharing it to my Instagram stories, or I'll find a way to share a personal picture and put a business caption that goes along with it. But once you have that connection of, okay, well, Katie has 5 other people that work with her. Katie is a mom and she's got 2 daughters. Katie loves to be outside. Holy cow, her in the mountains. She's always got some piece of mountain or tree or microphone on her. I've built out that brand. People know what to expect when they see from me. And this is where some statistics are going to speak volumes for how important it is to be authentic online. So brands perceived as authentic see a 20% increase in customer loyalty. And even more enticing is authenticity can lead to a 30% increase in sales. And remember, 20% of consumers have unfollowed a brand because they felt the content was inauthentic. And so the biggest thing I want you to remember here is authenticity is not just a nice to have, it is a need to have. If you are a business and you're trying to use social media as part of your online marketing strategy, you have to be willing to give your brand a face, show some behind the scenes. Don't just show up and consistently sail online. People want to learn a little bit about you. How can they relate to you? And I just want to talk about maybe some examples of brands that have really nailed it with the authenticity on social media. So one brand that I think has really nailed the authenticity on social media is Wendy's. If you do not follow Wendy's on Facebook or Twitter, if you only want to get on Twitter to follow the Wendy's account, do it, because Wendy's is known for its funny and relatable social media posts. The brand often uses really sarcastic, funny humor to connect with its audience and show its personality. Netflix is another brand that does a great job of being authentic on social media. The brand often shares behind the scenes content and interacts with its fans on a regular basis. Then there's Airbnb, which is another brand that has used authenticity to their advantage, and they leverage user-generated content to show real experience from their users. Remember, 70% of consumers can tell the difference between a brand-created type of content and a user-generated type of content. And by doing this, Airbnb not only proves this authenticity, but also effectively builds a community around its brand. In a world where there's so many filters, there's editing, there's AI, the digital age demands authenticity online. And if you need to be willing to connect with your audience, with your community on a human level, displaying the transparency and showing a genuine trust to your audience if you want to succeed online. So if you're looking for more engagement, you're looking for more reach, you're looking to build out your followers and your community, you need to start being more authentic on social media. Start by being true to your values, engage genuinely with your followers, and don't be afraid to show the human behind your brand. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Make sure to subscribe so that you can continue navigating the world of entrepreneurship. And I'd love to hear from you. Please leave the show a review and connect with me on social media. You can find me on Instagram at @IamKatieBrinkley or connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you're ready to start making some sales on social media, be sure to grab my free guide to selling in the DMs without being spammy. You can get that at katiebrinkley.com. Let's keep taking your marketing to all new heights.